Hi, I'm Rev Dr. Gallagher. I want to welcome you back to another episode of Come and See, where we look at the hope for the future that's possible when our faith guides our use of technology. Now, we're going to change away from the very heavy topics that we've been talking the last couple episodes about global changes in the utility systems. And we'll talk about something that you and I can do. And we're going to focus today on something interesting on that wall. I'm not talking about the Salvador Dali print of a Hawaiian king, although it's pretty interesting. That's why we have it on the wall. Really, I want to talk about that little box on the wall. What is it? Well, it's a thermostat, of course. Why talk about thermostats? Well, first of all, global energy, 40% of it goes into controlling our buildings, how warm they are or how cool they are. 40%. So bringing some intelligent control over that is significant. Why homes? Well, homes, a household thermostat is responsible for controlling 9% of the energy that's used globally. 9%. So it would make sense to think about how we control that 9% and whether we can improve upon it. You know, the thermostats when I was young were the old mercury dials, you know, and so my mother would crank it up, and my father would come along behind and crank it down, and back then it was just controlling our heat. Whereas now it controls 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, heat and cool. And so it's a huge investment. So why would we continue to use the technology of old? Our phones have changed. We don't longer have the crank phones or the party lines. Why would we stay with thermostats that require us to be constantly focused on them in order to maximize energy savings? As it turns out, studies show that we're woefully bad at saving energy by how we control the thermostat. Even when we do programmable thermostats, the next step up, because we forget to adjust them when our schedule changes or when we're out of the house. Here comes computer-controlled thermostats, what we call smart thermostats. If you have Wi-Fi in your house, they're easy to install. They're a little computer themselves, or to connect to the internet so you can access them using your phone. If you want to take another step forward, you can connect them to your utility so they have energy efficient programs that they can load in it. But even not going that far, a smart thermostat recognizes when you're in the house and when you're not in the house. It recognizes change in your behavior and your schedule, and it will adjust this thermostat to maximize energy savings. Why does this matter? 9%. 10% of global energy demand. Why wouldn't we want to bring smart technology into it? Because when we just rely on human behavior, well, studies show that we're not too good at that. You know, in the gospel, several different times in the different gospels, Jesus talks about on what foundation do we build? Do we build on sifting sand, or do we build our foundation on stone, on rock, on firm foundation? Do we listen to words of wisdom, or do we discard them? We need to re-examine how we build. Do we build simply for luxury, or do we build for a sustainable future for our kids, for your kids and my kids, your grandkids and my grandkids? Smart thermostats. If you look at Project Drawdown's numbers, the amount of carbon it reduces from the atmosphere is tremendous. That's not a mistake. That's not a negative spending. That's a cost savings right from the get-go when you install one of these. Even with today's prices, without the rebates, they pay for themselves in less than 2 years. And as with all computer systems, the price will go down when the capability starts up. Smart thermostats can alert you on the phone if you got a problem. So if you're traveling, you can know if there's a problem at home. And I've known people who paid for that dearly not knowing that their furnace has stopped working. So why wouldn't you do this? You can even get smart thermostats that you can yell at from across the room. Hey, turn it up or turn it down. And of course, they're smart enough to readjust that when you're no longer paying attention. Smart thermostats. What we can do when faith guides our use of technology rather than our greed or our indifference. We can do this. in little everyday steps that you and I can take. It doesn't take huge corporations, it doesn't take nations, it simply takes you and I caring about the future of our kids. This is one of the 48 action steps that you'll find on our website for steps that you can take right here and right now, not waiting on anybody else. It's what God is calling us to do. Smart thermostats, smart people. You betcha. We can do this. See you next time on Come and See. We'll explore yet another technology that brings us hope for the future. Take care.
And faith is not in knowing, it's a willingness to learn. And faith is found in loving when there's nothing in return. So come and see, come and see. Around the bend, look my friend, and what could be? Come with me, come with me. There's so much more to know, so come and see. There's so much more to know, so come and see.